With Cheltenham just around the corner, what better place to come and ride out than champion trainer Paul Nicholls? This is Thyme White. Apparently he's going to run in the Grand Annual at the Cheltenham Festival. Bravemansgame, stable star. Apparently he's out first lot, so I can hear Paul shouting and screaming in the background. We better get on. Morning, gentlemen. Yeah. Paul, with Cheltenham just around the corner, the horses obviously had that little bit of a blip, but the horses seem to be back running well again.
It's just been a bit frustrating, Luke, because you've probably been here this morning right now. You won't hear one horse cough, you won't see a dirty nose anywhere. They're all fitting well and healthy. I've just got a thing in the back of my mind that I don't know why, but for whatever reason this year, they seem to have taken longer to get over their flu jabs. Doesn't normally happen. Normally by the end of January, they're back firing again first week of February, but they've just been a bit slow to come to hand. We've tested just about everything just to make sure everything's on top, and everything's come up okay. And I think from now on we will go forward, better ground as well. And you don't change things, you just keep doing what you're doing. So you can imagine Cliff and I have been pulling our hair out because we couldn't find anything wrong at all. And it was nice to, we've had a few winners. And the thing is, like at the moment, we're operating at 23% strike rate, which for the season we were at 29% sometimes, which you're never going to last all season. It's impossible. And up until really Kempton at Christmas, we had a fantastic season. We've already 107 winners, and we've just hit this quiet spell. And I'm convinced in my mind that's what it is, because I don't know anything else. But a lot to look forward to in the spring. A lot of nice horses to run that will appreciate spring weather and better ground.
The horse I rode this morning, Thyme White, he looks absolutely magnificent in his skin, and just looks a picture of health.
Thyme White's in great shape. He won at Doncaster and won nicely. He's obviously qualified for that now. He's got a mark of 142. I didn't really want to win again and go any higher, because I think you've got to be competitive, and I think novices can often go into that race obviously lacking a little bit of experience, but possibly with a few pound in hand. So we've saved him particularly to go in that race, and he loves a strong race where he can travel behind the leaders, and looking forward to running him.
He's a nice sort of horse, isn't he? It's a good ride anyway.
yeah, he's a big scopy horse. He's had good form, and he was always going to keep improving and be a chaser. He's a big horse, and he lacks a bit of experience, but he does jump very well, and hopeful of a good run.
I don't think there's a horse in training that's been written more about than Bravemansgame, but he just looks magnificent. Scott on board this morning.
Yeah, he's come out of that race well. That's the first time he's done it serious really this morning. Just been ticking him over. He doesn't need lots of work. Very clean-winded horse, very fresh horse, and that was good to win the other day. He's now rated 164, which is a hell of a rating, but I think what ratings can be a little bit misdeceiving. He won off 159 the other day. He was going to go up again. But, when you're at that sort of level, it's a few pounds here and there, doesn't make a lot of difference, but it's just, I think he's higher now than what Denman was after Denman who won the RSA, so it just shows where he is.
And what I like about him, if you compare the two, is that he, like Denman, just sticks his head out. He wants it, doesn't he? He really tries.
And he jumps well. That's a big plus with him. He's got a bit more boot probably than Denman had, and Denman was as you know, an out brutal galloper and stay all day. This lad has got plenty of pace. He could drop back and win at 2.5. But he stays well, and I think he'll be even better next year when he's had another summer. But he's a hugely exciting horse.
What do you think is his absolute ace card? Is it his jumping? Is it his staying power? Because obviously you've got 2.5 or 3 miles that you could go at Cheltenham.
It's just a high-class horse, isn't he, that jumps well. There's lots of horses who've got, they're high-class, lots of ability. They don't always jump, and the jumping lets them down and never lets them fulfil their potential. If they can jump like him and they've got the ability, then, they go a long way, and I think that's the main thing with him. He's got class and he jumps.
I was talking to Scott this morning as we were counting up the hill, and he just said, I'm convinced this horse will win a Gold Cup.
Yeah.
He said, I think he might have won this year's Gold Cup even,
Well, I'm a great one keeping novices to novices, and as I said, he's only going to get stronger with time, and I didn't want to overface him this year. But I'd like to think next year that we'll be looking at the King George and on to the Gold Cup. We've got a horse here to follow in the footsteps of like Kauto and Denman. He's the one, really. Is
there any similarity? Is he straightforward to train? He just looks push button, really.
He's almost a mixture across of the two. Like, as you know, Kauto's quite a sharper type of horse and had lots of boot and stayed 3 miles. which is he's a little bit like that. I'm not trying to compare him with Kauto. I don't want let's get that right before we start. But Kauto was that type of horse. Had plenty of boot. Didn't probably jump as well as this lad does. But Bravemansgame is in a different era to them. It's hard to make comparisons to back in the past. They were the best of their generation at the time. I hope this lad will be one of the best of his generation. That's what it's all about.
And you lean towards more 3 miles?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, the only reason he ran in the turf half the ground was absolutely desperate. But I want to go to 3 miles and stick with him. As I said, next year we'll be heading off to the King George. I mean, he could start off next year if he wanted to in the Newton Abbot race again. He's actually still qualified to go in that, his intermediate chase. But I think he'd be 3 miles. The King George will be his target, so I think stay at 3. He stays well, and I think Cheltenham 3. And the Cheltenham 3 on the Wednesdays, of course, on the old course is an easy 3. It's not like the Gold Cup course at the moment. It's an easier 3, so that suits him quite well.
And Stage Star?
He's a lovely horse too. I mean, he's done nothing wrong. He's followed the same route, really, as what Bravemansgame did. He's won the Grade 1 Shallow at Christmas. I didn't want to run him Exeter the other day in very heavy ground. As I said, he had a good piece of work on Sunday with Monmouth, went nicely, and yeah, he's a decent horse. He'll run well. Again, he'll improve for a summer and make a lovely chaser next year, almost follow the same footsteps as Bravemansgame. If he was half as good as him, we'd be well happy. But he's going the right way at the moment, and he's probably one of the better Sten novice hurdlers in this country. Yeah,
well, he is, and you're absolutely spot on. When I saw him at Newbury, he looks just behind us. Sadly, he hasn't just filled out yet, has he?
He's got a lot going for him. He jumps well, he's got loads of boot, and he stays well. I think Harry was surprised just how much from the second last. He just clicked him the other day, and he took off, and it was a good race to win, and he's progressive, but it does look a high-class race. The Irish have got some really good novices, as they did last year. It'll be hard. So the plus that he hasn't been to Exeter and he hasn't had a run since Christmas, we could possibly do Cheltenham and then go on to Aintree.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I've got to mention it. I mean, the Irish are just, when you look at those every Sunday, the horse that they're producing is just phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they've got some fantastic horses. William Gordon trains huge numbers of horses, and they keep producing them. They've been able to buy the best, and they've done well. So it's tough, but it does go in cycles. Imagine, when back 2007, 8, 9, when I had all those good horses, probably saying the same the other way around. It's just how it goes a little bit. We just got to, things will improve. You can only play with the squad you got, really, if you know what I mean. And it changes from time to time. The same in football, the same team doesn't win the Premiership every year, but it changes, and it'll change back again. And I'm sure that we'll be back there fighting. We'll do our best now. But there's no point going in races. I think now I've learnt that when you've got no chance whatsoever, you're better off to keep other options.
Threeunderthrufive's had a really good season. Is he going to run the amateur races?
No, he's not. I think Max would like to keep Adrian on board in that, so he's won all 4 races on him. So I can see their point in that. Me being competitive, would rather run in the 3 mile suits because he's got a chance, and I hate running 2 horses in the same race at Cheltenham. But saying that, he's been a fantastic horse. He keeps on winning. You just wouldn't know how good he was, and he will stay all day with. Some of the others might cry wolf at the end. He will stay on all day. So he runs in the Brown Advisory, and he'll give a good account of himself. And he's super horse for the future as well. He's a horse I could see running in a Grand National one day.
And old Politologue, will he be?
Yeah, he's going to run in the Champion Chase. That'll be the 7th festival he's been to. I know he didn't run that because he had that little blip in the paddock, but he's in good shape. We've kept him fresh. Obviously there are younger legs about than him now, but he'll give a good account of himself as per normal. And whether that's his last run or we find one more race after that, he's been an amazing horse. And to run at 7 festivals,
or
to turn up, is unbelievable, and win a Champion Chase. And he'll run well again. But he has got those younger horses. It'll be hard to beat.
McFabulous?
Yeah, Coral Cup he's going to run it. Yeah, he doesn't get 3 miles, so disappointing horse.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be an absolute champion at one stage.
I know, he's just been a bit frustrating. I think when he goes jumping fences next year, then he'll get right back on track. But I didn't want to go chasing like now. I might even have a run in May with him, because it's stupid. He was going to go chase in October, and he slipped up in the yard and just had a tiny fracture of 2 of his withers. So we had, bones in his withers. So we had to wait. That's why then I thought, I'll go hurdling. He ran very well at Christmas, over 2.5, thinking he wanted 3. And then we went back to 3 in the Cleaver. He obviously didn't get 3 miles. So 2 mile 5 suits him well. He's got to run off 150, but if he runs to his best and the ground was decent, he's not without a chance.
David Maxwell could be your top jockey at the festival. Bob and Co.
Well, David's got 2 lovely horses to ride, actually. Cat Tiger in the Kim Muir. He went on him at Ascot the other day. He's a great horse, stays forever. That'll run tidy.
He rode him really well as well,
he rode him very well. I mean, he got to the front a bit too soon at Doncaster the time before that, and he sort of idled in front and just got caught, but he rode him very well the last. And Cheltenham was over 3-2 and that. They go quick, he can just creep into the race and hopefully arrive there on time. And then Bob & Co. in the Fox Hunters must have a massive chance. He was travelling well in last year's Fox Hunters when he unseated Sean Bowden coming down the hill. So with David on, we're a certainty. So he's looking forward to that race. And actually, I think that's one of our best chances of the week.
Is Cheltenham still a big deal for you?
Yeah, of course it is. You know, we all like having Cheltenham winners, but you know, you also want to have those top horses running in the top races. You know, I've been very lucky. Look, I've trained 46 Cheltenham winners, and if I ever got anywhere near training 50 winners in the whole of my career, I'd be absolutely delighted because I never ever thought that would happen. It's just like, you've got to be realistic. Let's face it. I mean, when I started off, the first 10 years I trained, I look back and think, now, what did I run those horses there for? You just give them hard races and you're dreaming a bit. You just got to be realistic and try and run horses that can win and be competitive. And so in sport, you've got to be competitive and try and get the best out of what you've got.